there, my fellow myth and fantasy nerds. My name is Tanner, and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. Should I wear my sweater vest again? Nah, I'll save it for another video. Now, this video will be the third and final in my series, where I talk about the new D&D multiclass characters that I have created. In my last episode of this series, link up in the cards and in the description down below, I talked about Robin Windweaver, my fairy Bardlock character. Whereas in this video, I will be talking about my third multiclass character, who, instead of being a Bardlock, is actually a Druidlock. This means that instead of being a Bard Warlock multiclass, he's actually a Druid Warlock multiclass. So on that note, as always, please make sure to leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe down below. Pretty please! It'll help me make more content for you. And without further ado, allow me to present to you the third and final character in this series with the story of Aelen Moonpetal. Once upon a time, Aelen was a peaceful Firbolg botanist, studying rare plants, flowers, and herbs, and helping others gather them for use as ingredients in spells, potions, and poultices. One day, a particularly powerful wizard demanded that Aelen find him a particularly rare flower for a potion. He threatened both Aelen's life and the life of his loved ones if he didn't find this rare plant within the week. Aelen desperately searched and searched to find this rare plant, all the while thinking of his loved ones and the danger they were in. Despite searching and searching for days and days, he could not find this flower. Aelen was almost out of time when he stumbled upon the swampland. He was so exhausted, he found a particularly soft patch of moss, laid down, and fell fast asleep. As it turns out, hidden within that swamp was an entrance to the Feywild, and as Aelen slept, he dreamt of a woman. She was wreathed in plant life, with ivy vines growing from her head like hair, roots extending into the ground where her feet should be, and carnivorous plants growing from her body. She introduced herself to Aelen as Carnivora, the mother of all carnivorous plants, and she told him she knew the location of the plant he was seeking. She would show him where this flower was, and grant him the power to protect his friends and family, and she only asked for one thing in return. "Feed my children," she said to him. "Feed them a portion of every kill you take. Feeding them shall feed me in turn." Aelen took the deal. She told him the location of the flower, and he returned home with only minutes to spare. After the wizard left, call it intuition, call it Carnivora sending him a message, call it whatever you want, but Aelen knew something terrible would happen, even though he had done as the wizard asked. So he decided to lead his people back to the swampland, where he was first contacted by Carnivora. He begged her to grant his people sanctuary, and of course, she granted it. And a good thing, too. A few days later, Aelen learned the wizard used the flower to craft a poison so powerful, one drop killed all life within 5 miles of the town's borders. Aelen and his people have lived in seclusion within his mistress's swamp ever since. Whew! That was a close call, huh? Aelen is a Firbolg Druidlock multiclass, specifically a Circle of Spores Druid, Archfey Patron Warlock. Just like with the Pied Piper in my last video, I first thought of Carnivora when I saw a TikTok talking about making Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors into a Warlock patron. By the way, if you want to follow me on TikTok, the link is in the description down below. Of course, being the creative guy I am, I also added in elements of Poison Ivy from the DC Comics, specifically the version of her from the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover after she's been mutated by the ooze, and the Rumor Weed from Larry Boy and the Rumor Weed. As for the items on his person, I imagine that when he made a pact with Carnivora, she turned his druidic focus, a wooden staff with mushrooms growing from it, into his arcane focus, thereby causing carnivorous plants to grow from it alongside the mushrooms. Now, like with Dante and Robin, I like to imagine that when he reaches the right warlock level, his patron will grant him a tome pact, thereby giving him a book of shadows that grants him new cantrips to use in battle. I specifically imagine that Carnivora actually turns his botanist's journal slash field guide slash plant catalog into his tome by adding in new pages with the new spells written in Sylvan, the language of the Fae. Now, like with the previous two, I haven't played as Aelen yet, but when I rolled his stats and then calculated the increases he gets from being a Firbolg, his highest scores were a tie between his charisma and his intelligence at 16 apiece, though his wisdom, the stat used for his druid spells, is a close second at 15, and his lowest score was actually not his strength this time, but his dexterity at 7. He's a 7.5 foot tall, 287-pound man with Fey and giant ancestry. Can you blame him for being rather clumsy? So there we have it. That was Aelen Moonpetal, the Firbolg Druidlock. If you like this video and you want more, please consider leaving a like and subscribing down below so you don't miss any new content from me. So what did you think of Aelen? Did you like his story? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you have any other ideas that you want to see in any future videos, please leave those suggestions in the comments as well. Who knows? It might just happen. Alright. Well, that's all the time I have for this video, so I'll see you all next week with some brand new content for ya. See you guys then.